in my experience, about 95% of the times, the reality we face on the ground as agile practitioners is usually far, far away from the ideal situation. That is what we see in books, especially around engagement in the Scrum official events. Usually, as agile practitioners, you will agree with me that it is typically challenging, sometimes really difficult, to keep your team members or enable them to be engaged in the official Scrum events. So, how do we help our teams to be engaged or stay engaged in the official Scrum events? My name is Fomafung, your Agile Evangelist, and today I'll be sharing with you my tips or some of my tips that I have implemented to keep my teams engaged in the official Scrum events. Now, stay tuned. If this is your first time here, you're very welcome. Just so you know what we do here, we share ideas, we share knowledge on the agile ways of working, product development, specifically on Scrum, that will help you to continuously learn and improve in this agile journey. This is the safest place where you can fail, share ideas. Nobody's judging you. So please, to stay in sync with what we do here, turn on that subscription button and the notification bell so you will never miss out on our weekly content. And if this is your favorite spot where you come every Sunday to learn with us, as always, you're very welcome and we appreciate you so very much. Now, let's get straight into the point. How do we keep our teams engaged in the official Scrum events? I'm going to be sharing with you today, out of my many tips, my 4 tips that I continuously use, that has been very, very effective to me. Now, how do you keep your teams engaged in the official Scrum events so that you all will be getting the value as it was intended to be according to the books? Number 1, what I have done to keep my teams engaged is I teach them Scrum. I make sure that they have the understanding of the concept. You see, so one thing that I've noticed, and which a lot of Scrum Masters struggle with, is they will join the organization and then they would assume that team members already have the understanding of the Scrum. They have the understanding of this event and they should be doing this event. I always like to remind the my mentees, that if the organization was that good already, they wouldn't be needing you. They wouldn't be hiring you. So rather than you coming in with the perception of them already, they should know what the Scrum events are and they should be reflecting it, I would suggest that you come in, don't assume. Scrum preach empirical way of working. It's the same thing. I suggest you come in with the same attitude of empiricism. So when you join your teams, observe and try to meet them where they are. And then if you notice that they are not engaged in these meetings, then something is missing somewhere. You know, most of the times I'll realize that some people may have the understanding of these events. Some people may not have the understanding. They may have different understanding. Some people may understand the purpose of this event. Some may not understand the purpose. Now, everybody have their own different understandings. So for us all to operate as a team from a common place, I would go ahead and teach them on some specific things. So I would teach little things, little bites here and there based on my observation. And usually Scrum events is usually one of the situations where team members hardly have a common understanding of what these events are, the purpose of these events, the time box of this event, and the importance of these events. So I will see that as an opportunity to do a refresher for those who already know, and for those who may not already know, I would consider that as a little training for them. It shouldn't really take any time. It's just a quick training. With that, I now can say that we all have a common understanding of what these events are. And one of the reasons why I also see that as very important is because team members, people don't like to be in meetings. People don't like to be in meetings, and you would agree with me that most of the times these team members would be complaining and seeing these official events as one of those other meetings, one of the many meetings. You see, one of the so many meetings. That's usually their perception. So for you to make sure you bypass that perception, teach them and help them to understand the importance of these meetings and where these meetings stand amidst all other organizational meetings. So the scope of what I will be teaching them is what these events are, who are invited in these events, and who does what in these events, the time box of these events, and the purpose of these events. So that's usually the scope of what I'll cover when I'm teaching them. That way I would now assume that, okay, from now I will continuously follow up to ensure that they start being engaged with an understanding that we are now on the same page from the knowledge standpoint. That's one thing. Teach. Just a reminder, that here at Being Agile, we help organizations, we help teams, we help individuals to succeed in Agile. So if you are looking to transition into this Agile career path, you're not sure how to go about it, you don't have a clue, you've just been doing research here and there, you don't have a coordinated, well-structured knowledge or training which is critical in your journey, reach out to us. We have great customized training programs that have been designed to help people understand the concept and earn a certification, an accredited certification from there. So reach out to us. Our next training is going to start on the 5th of April, and it's going to be a 1-month training. So reach out to us. We'll be so glad to help you. Check right up there to get our contact information, or go to the description box and get our information right there, and we're glad to help you. If you're in between just having a certification and landing the job, you've been in the job market for a while, you're getting frustrated, or you even give up thinking that Scrum is probably not for you, my friend, something is missing. Reach out to us. We'll gladly help you achieve that dream of becoming an awesome Scrum Master. And last but not the least, if you're already on the job struggling, you're looking to really be valuable to your organization as an Agile Coach, a Scrum Master, a release train engineer, please reach out to us and we'll be so glad to help you add value. So visit our website today to learn more about the services that we offer. Thank you so much. The second technique that I have used to keep my teams engaged during our official Scrum events is I am making sure that before I get into these meetings, I am prepared. Preparedness is important. Staying prepared is very important. Don't just run to a meeting without coordinating your materials, coordinating your thoughts, coordinating how you would facilitate, visualizing the expected outcome of the meeting. Don't do that, because when you come across as not being prepared, your team members already will not take you seriously. And you that they are looking up to as the master of Scrum, because that's why they call you a Scrum Master, you that you're looking up to and they are looking up to, you come to these meetings without being prepared. How do you expect them to take it seriously, or to take you seriously? You see, that way they will not see any reason why they should devote their valuable time or be engaged in these meetings. They will not see any reason. You see, so to make sure that you are on top of your game and to reflect the importance of these meetings, if it's that important to you, you will make sure you always want to be proactive with being prepared. Typical examples on how you want to be prepared. If, let's say, a sprint planning is coming up, you want to ensure that you have proactively connected with your PO and make sure the backlog is ready. You see, make sure that the backlog is healthy enough, rather than connecting for a sprint planning meeting and it's live during a meeting that you all want to start prioritizing the backlog and ranking the backlog and writing user stories live in the sprint event. They will not take you seriously. Time is precious and people don't like wasting time, you see. So that's just a typical example. So Again, on this prepare point, always make sure that you're 1-2 steps ahead, so that when you're connecting for those meetings, you will just flow seamlessly. Your thoughts will just flow seamlessly, and it takes preparedness to be able to achieve that. That's how important this is, you see. And make sure that I create that environment of psychological safety where everyone is open enough. They feel like they have the freedom to speak or not to speak. If they choose to not speak, it's not because they are afraid to speak up. They will not be speaking because they feel that they have the freedom to speak or not speak. That's the kind of safety I am creating as a facilitator. So with that, you will see that the engagement of your teams and your stakeholders, it will accelerate. Yeah. So the last but not the least tips, which is really, really important, but most of the time we neglect it, you see, I make sure that at the end of every meeting, I conduct a quick retro. I usually conduct a quick retro for all my Scrum events, you see. I retro on all of my Scrum events. It mustn't be an official retro where you have all these boards and stuff like that, no. For example, at the end of our retro, I'll quickly conduct maybe a 1 or 2 minute retro on the retrospective meeting. Just asking the team's opinion on what they think and how can we improve on our retro. You see, so I'll just do that, and then even at sprint planning, at the end of our sprint planning, I will quickly conduct a 2-minute retro, asking them what they think about the sprint planning and what are, if they have any idea, if they can share their thought on any immediate action item we can implement to make it better next time. You see, even if it's a workshop session, regardless of what it is, even if it's a little training that I did, I am conducting retro. Because I see feedback as a gift. I really think that's really the only way, one of the only ways, is that even a thing, that we can improve, you see. So I always make sure that I ask feedback. I ask for feedback at every given opportunity, so that we can continuously reflect what Agile stands for: continuous learning and continuous improvement. So out of the rich toolbox you already have to keep your teams engaged during the official Scrum events, I suggest just try mine. Try some of these tips that I've mentioned today and see if it will be valuable to you and your team. Hope this session was helpful. Hope you learned one thing or two. And as always, you know that this is a free space where you can share your thoughts, and I'm always very curious to know what you think. Leverage the comment section. Drop your thoughts there so that we can continuously learn and grow in this beautiful Agile journey. Thank you so much. Again, this is Karen Fomafung, your favorite Agile evangelist. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.